let's see if I can actually read some of the many arcs I have requested. Hi everyone, my name's Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is the start of a new weekly reading vlog, and this week I'm going to exclusively be reading arcs that I have been approved for. So arcs, advanced reader copies, early copies of books before they are released. I have quite a few actually that have actually now already been released, and I still haven't read them because I am bad for requesting things on NetGalley that I'm really excited for and then just not picking them up. But I'm going to try and power through some of them this week. I am following Tori's arc August. I think arc August has been a thing before, but she's done like an actual challenge around it, and I'm going to link that down below. I'm just going to do it for a week because I have too many other things to be reading to do it like all month, but I'm going to do it for a week, and I can't remember the challenges off the top of my head, so I will fill you in later on like what challenges each one fits. But I know that the first one I'm going to read is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, which is my most anticipated arc to read because you've all sick of hearing me talk about Babel now and how much I love that one. Yellowface is her next novel. It's coming out after Babel. I believe it comes out early next year, so pretty early that I've managed to get this one, and I'm very excited for it. So I have it on my Kindle. I've been charging my Kindle all afternoon while I've been at work. I'm now logged off from work, so I'm going to go downstairs, I'm going to get comfy, and I'm going to start reading it, and I'll give you guys some thoughts later. Hello, it is now just after midnight. I have spent the evening reading Yellowface. I'm 35% of the way through it. I was hoping to try and get to 50% tonight, to be honest, because I'm like very much into it. I'll give you full thoughts in a minute, but yeah, I was hoping to get to 50%, but then I got distracted watching the closing ceremonies at the Commonwealth Games. But I have, like I said, been reading this, and yeah, I think it's safe to say that R.F. Kuang is one of my favourite authors, because like from the second that I started reading this, I'm like, oh no, this is good. It's completely different to anything that she's wrote before, because obviously you've got Poppy War series, which is sort of based on actual places and an actual war that happened, but it's set in its own sort of, it's fantasy, it's set in its own world, and the time period for it would have been like hundreds of years ago anyway. You got Babel, which is set in sort of the 1800s, and then this one is modern day, and it's very modern day. So for anyone who doesn't know, this basically tells the story of a white author who takes credit for an Asian author's novel when that author passes away, and so far it's just about sort of the publishing of that book and how she sort of got hold of it, what changes she made to it, how she's kind of justified in her head that she's allowed to publish it because she did make changes, and she's trying to justify that it's what Athena would have wanted, which, and it's really interesting because it's told in first person perspective. So we're in Juniper's head, and so you know that she's an unreliable narrator because you can hear her sort of trying to justify these things to herself, and clearly the way that she is writing things, anyone who is questioning anything that she's doing, because the story that she's put out there is a story about Chinese labourers in World War I, so it is a story that isn't really hers to tell, and there's a lot of questions on that, obviously, and the way that she is kind of justifying that is like anybody that questions it at all is automatically just like a bad person, and obviously that sounds very questionable. And then also like another way that she's justifying things is sort of using quotes from Athena when she was writing things and kind of making it out that like, well, she did these things as well, and she wrote stories that weren't necessarily hers to tell. Like there's just been a section about, again, somebody questioning why she gets to be the one that writes this and profits off of it, and one of the justifications for it is about how Athena didn't actually live through suffering herself because she'd grown up in America, and a quote that she'd had about feeling guilty about sort of being able to write about these things because her parents and her grandparents had gone through these things. And it's like, that is a very different perspective though, from a white woman who has no connection to this whatsoever, to an Asian American woman who may not have like direct experience herself, but generations of her family have had to go through it, and that is obviously going to have affected her in some way. It's a very different experience, but she can't seem to get that in her head. And yeah, it's for a reading experience, it's very weird because as much as the main character likes to say that she's not racist, there is obviously a lot of casual racism kind of thrown in there. I say casual, there's some that's just very overt, but throughout it, there is a lot of little things in there, and it's uncomfortable to read at times, but like, in a good way, because like you're challenging these things as well. It's really interesting, like being sort of part of the bookish community and reading it as well, because I don't know how well this is going to go down with like people, like sort of the casual reader, because a lot of it is all about like the world of publishing and how that all works. And there's like talk about book Twitter at the minute, and somebody making a YouTube review of something, and it's a lot of like said talk of how things are received in the book community. That's sort of the section I'm on at the minute, because we're within sort of like the first 6 months of release. And yeah, it's very, very interesting. I think I'll probably end up finishing it tomorrow. I think I'll just power through it, because if I didn't have to wake up for work in the morning, I would just carry on reading this now. I'm really, really intrigued by it. So yeah, like I said, safe to say Lara Kong is definitely a favourite author. I'm really glad, because I was a bit worried with it being so different from what she'd done before. I didn't know if I would like her writing style in this type of work, because this is the first modern day thing she's done. But no, it's a very different writing style. Like, I wouldn't necessarily pick this up and think, oh, this is the same person who just wrote Babel. But it's so good. That's all I have to say. It's just so good. Hello. It is Tuesday evening. Technically it's Wednesday morning. I have spent the evening dyeing my hair, which you can possibly see. But I've also finished reading Yellowface. I've literally just finished it. It's a 5-star. I think every book from Lara Kong has been a 5-star now. I'm left with like so many questions. It took like a really meta turn towards the end of it, and it was just like a lot of commentary on like the book community and like framing a narrative, lots and lots of things. And I think I'm gonna need to reread it to kind of think more on this. I also really want to read like any acknowledgements or author's notes about this, because the ARC doesn't have anything like that, and I really want like to hear more from Rebecca on what she was meaning with the story, because there were multiple ways to take it. And yeah, it was a very good book. It's safe to say that Lara Kong is definitely a favourite author these days. Right, I'm gonna go to bed now, but tomorrow I will pick what arc I'm reading next. You should have seen before this vlog, my last video was try chapter tag, and that's what I'm doing tomorrow, just trying the first chapter of a lot of other books and picking which one I want to read next. So I will update you when I know what it is tomorrow. Hello, it is now Wednesday evening. I did film a clip last night talking about how I'd finished Yellowface at like 12:10, but I feel like my thoughts weren't that coherent, so I'm just going to talk about it again. I'm going to delete anything that rambles from that previous clip. But I gave it 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed this book. It features a lot of discussion on the bookish community in general and publishing in general, and inherent racism that is within that. And it's a really interesting story because it's told from a first person's perspective of the person who steals, of the white author who steals the book from the Asian author. And obviously she is painting it in a way that is supposed to make you feel sympathetic to her. Well, I think that's what she's aiming for. But there are so many like instances of casual and blatant racism throughout the entire book that she passes off as, well, that she passes off as being like nothing of importance, but very, very clearly are. That it's really hard to root for her all. I don't think you're supposed to root for her all, but also it just gives you, it makes you mistrust sort of everything that she's saying, because obviously she might not see it in this way, but you can very clearly see that there is an issue here. I still don't think I'm explaining this very well, but it was a very thought-provoking book, and it took a twist towards the end, which suddenly got very meta. And no, I just really, really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to rereading it next year. I didn't realise quite how early I've actually got this copy. It doesn't come out till May next year, so there's a while yet. I'll be interested to reread it and just see if they have changed things, because obviously with it being such an early arc, there is plenty of time for them to make adjustments to things. There was a couple of instances I noticed where, I mean, character names got confused. I think maybe when she originally wrote it, she was going to have one person do this particular thread where basically somebody, as you can imagine, somebody does find out that she has stolen the book, and there is a threat of whether or not she's going to be revealed, because obviously that had to happen. Like, you can't just have her, it can't just be about her stealing the book. There has to be somebody who picks up on it a little bit. And yeah, there was like a name that was used in one paragraph that was the wrong name, so I'm guessing that she decided to change who it was that was going to be trying to like out her for it. So it's definitely a copy that is still like in the editing process, because things like that need to be caught out. Because sometimes with arcs I find that they are like near enough exactly the finished copy, and sometimes they do get tweaked a little bit. So I mean, any excuse for me to reread an Aragorn book, not a bad thing really. I am so like desperate to reread the Poppy War series now, because having read Babel and Yellowface and given them both 5 stars, I gave the Poppy War series 5 stars as well, but I just really want to reread it, because I think I'll appreciate it even more this time, like now really loving her work. So anyway, on to what I'm doing today. Today's been a weird day. I got some book mail, which was from my sister, who apparently has found my YouTube channel. So Callie, if you're watching this, hello. Apparently I got recommended to her on her homepage, so now I feel really awkward. But it's fine, it's fine. She sent me a book which I'm really excited to read. She sent me So Happy For You. I can't remember who the author is, and I can't see it from where I'm sat right now, but it's a book that I saw on Kayla Books and Lala's channel. I was sort of binge watching a lot of her videos that I'd got behind on the other day, and added quite a few things that she was recommending to my wish list, and that was one of them, and my sister sent it to me, so I'm excited to read that one soon. But what I'm actually reading at the minute is Dowry of Blood by something Gibson. I'm doing really well with author names, you can tell. If you want to know how I picked that book, then watch my video that went up before this one. It'll have gone up on Saturday. I did a try chapter tag basically, and I did not think this was going to be the book that I picked, but apparently it is. So I've only read the first chapter so far. I should have read more, but I started rewatching Doctor Who from the Christopher Eccleston series, so we're doing like a rewatch of the modern era. I say we, it's just me, but I think I've seen these that many times I can leave this on in the background while I actually do a bit of reading. So yeah, because I did manage to read with Dowry of Blood, I did manage to read like 5% of it in about 10 minutes earlier, so I think I could power through it and read it all tonight. It's about Dracula's Wives. It's a retelling. I don't know too much else other than that. I know Meg loved it. She said it was one of her favourite. I don't know if she said it was her favourite from last year, or if it was just one of her favourites, but I know it was definitely a 5-star read for her last year when she read the indie pubbed version. I've got the art because it's now been picked up by a major publisher. But yes, we will see how I like it. I'm really liking the writing style so far. It was quite like captivating as soon as I picked it up. So I'll give you thoughts later, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. We never know. Hello. Sorry if you can hear my van, the UK is in the middle of another heatwave, so we're just going to have to deal with it. It is now Thursday. I have had a really early finish to work today, because basically we're at a point in our training where it would not make sense for us to start a new thing now, so told us to log off early, and then we can start that bit tomorrow instead. So it means I will actually go and read, because I do not have reading updates from last night, because I felt rubbish last night, so I just went to sleep early. Actually, that's a lie. I carried on watching Doctor Who. I think I told you I was watching Doctor Who yesterday, but yeah, I watched Doctor Who, and then I went to sleep. And yeah, I've not read any more of A Dowry of Blood. I think I'm like 10% into it now, but I'm feeling better. I've actually drunk today. I think that's part of the problem. I think I was dehydrated, but I have water. I will stay hydrated today. And yeah, I'm going to go and read some more of A Dowry of Blood. I just thought I would catch you guys up on that. I will actually give you thoughts later on. I'm filming 2 different videos at the minute, and they both have like vlog type content in it, so it's hard for me to remember which clip I'm supposed to be filming at any one time. But this is an actual vlog update. Hello, it is Friday. I just said then that it was Thursday and had to repeat myself. I don't know why I'm trying to add an extra day to the week, but apparently I am. It's Friday, I finished work for the week, yay. I've actually had a pretty good work week with the training for the new job. It seems to be going well so far, so fingers crossed it stays like that. When I actually start doing the role properly, hopefully it goes well. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about reading updates. I have finally finished Diary of Blood. I only ended up finishing it today. I, again, just did not read very much last night, but I read like 70% of it today, and as I thought it would be once I actually started reading it, was a very quick read. I read most of it sort of after I finished work before I had food, and I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It had some really beautiful writing. It had a lot of sort of, it featured like a really sort of harmful, abusive relationship, but then also like healing within it as well, with like finding other people that can help you heal through it. And it was beautiful, and it was all set around a vampire story as well, so it was a nice mixture of this really beautiful writing, this really powerful story, and then Dracula. I really enjoyed it. I'm just annoyed now that if I want to get a copy of it, I have to get the new cover. Now it's with a major publisher, because I don't like the new cover, but I'm not going to be able to get the indie published version anymore, so never mind. But for reading updates, what I'm going to read next, I'm not actually sure yet, because I'm doing my try chapter vlog. I have just read the first chapter of Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I'm going to read the first chapter of Something Wilder by Christina Lauren, and we're going to go from there. So far I did really enjoy the first chapter of Dead Romantics though, so I wouldn't be surprised if it goes in that direction, but I'm pretty sure I said that after reading the Sunbearer Trials first chapter and then still picked up Diary of Blood, so we will see. Plans for the weekend, I'm going to jump on sprints with Catherine tonight. I'm going to link Catherine's channel down below. Actually, I'd link everyone I talk about, but Catherine in particular has just started a channel that she's going to be hosting sprints on, and I don't know if I mentioned this earlier on in the week when she hosts them on Tuesday, but shout out to her in general, and yeah, go and subscribe if you want in sprints in the future. And then tomorrow I'm going to go and see McFly at Doncaster Racecourse, so that should be fun. I do not want to see the horse racing. I don't particularly agree with horse racing, but I do want to see McFly after, so we're going to go in like just as the concert part starts. And then on Sunday I'm going to be on Beckett's sprints, I believe, so should hopefully be able to get some reading done. I'm going to try and pick the book I'm going to read before the sprints start now. I've got like 10 minutes to read the first chapter, and then I would like to get as much of this done as possible today, hopefully some on the train tomorrow, and then Sunday possibly fit like one more arc in. We'll see, or maybe I just make a start on next week's TBR. We'll see what mood I'm in, but for now I'm going to go and read this first chapter, and I will catch up with you guys when I've actually picked what I'm going to read. Very quick vlog update, because I need to jump on the sprints now, but I'm going to be carrying on with Dead Romantics, which is what I thought. If you want to know why, watch the previous video where I did the try chapter tag. Yes, I just hit myself in the face, but we're going to ignore that because I'm not refilming this. I need to go on sprints. Talk to you guys in a little bit. Here's another song from the radio. Here's another line from my heart. Don't pretend you hate us when you sing our songs, 'cause we all look the same. Let me hear you. I'll be okay. Say what? I'll be okay. People marching to the drums. Everybody's having fun to the sound of love. Ugly is the world alone in the rest of you. Don't understand. To find that place you belong. And the lights are coming. Surfing the sun as it starts to rise. Gravity's making windy. Gonna try to tell you I feel much better. Make the middle of it burn light. And I will answer all your wishes if you ask me to. But if you deny me one of your kisses, I don't know what I do. So hold me close and say 3 words like you used to do. Dancing on the kitchen tile. Hello. Super quick update. It is Saturday night. I have not done any reading, so I don't have any reading updates for you. But I went to go and see McFly today, and I think it's the 6th time I went to see them. I've tried to count it earlier. It's either the 6th or 7th, but I love met Fly, and it was a very good day. Had a nice day with my mum, and then we went to see Met Fly. Good times all around. I will catch up with you guys properly tomorrow, but yeah, that is my update. No reading, but fun times watching a band that I love. So talk to you guys tomorrow. Hello, I am just waiting to join Becca's Sprints. It's Sunday now, but I thought I would catch you guys up while I'm waiting. I've read a little bit more of Dead Romantics this morning, and now 30% in. I'm really enjoying it so far. We've got to the actual setup, so the boss has now entered her life as a ghost, and yes, we are finding out why he is a ghost. The twist that I thought would be in it seems to be in it, but it seems like they're revealing it quite early, which I'm happy about, because I think that sets you up better for like believing in their romance in a way, because obviously there is going to be a romance, but we've not got to that part yet. But other than that, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the writing style. I do need to check. I think there's been a reference to one of her other books, like one of the Once Upon a Con ones, because the character's name, who is an actress, rings a bell, and I just want to double check if it is actually one of those actresses from that. If it is, then I like that. It's cute. I like having like little references to other books from the same author. I always think it's nice to see that they are in like a combined world. But yeah, not too much else to update you on. Like I said, I'm on waiting for sprints to start, so we're starting in just over 10 minutes, so I'm just waiting for other people to come backstage, and I'll be on these most of the day, so I'm hoping I will get a good chunk of it done. Obviously I will not be reading another arc like I hoped I would this week, so I'll be finishing this. If I do finish it early today, I'll probably just jump straight in with Les Mis for next week's reading, but we'll see. I might just leave it at this and then go back to rewatching Doctor Who, because I'm at like the last 3 episodes of Christopher Eccleston series now, so it means that things are starting to happen. I really like this like arc of story from when they pick up Captain Jack to like the end of the series. I really like this arc, so I'm excited to rewatch those. And then of course we get into the David Tennant years, which is always fun to watch. So yeah, I might just go back to rewatching Doctor Who. I'll let you guys know what my decision is later on. Hello. So it is Sunday evening, and I thought I would just round up what I've read this week. I just finished reading The Dead Romantics. I'm giving it 5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. It had like the fun pacing of Ashley Boston's writing that new from the Once Upon a Con series. Still had some like pop culture references, but not quite as much, which I think was a good thing, because obviously Once Upon a Con is all built around pop culture, even if it's sort of fake pop culture. So this not having quite as much made more sense. It did have a lot of like book references in there, but it's set in the world of publishing, so that made sense as well. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. It's more than just like a typical romance. There is another storyline to it as well, actually, just to let anyone know who is thinking of reading it. It does deal with death of a family member, so if that's something that you don't want to read about, it's all centered around loss of a family member and the grief and the preparing for the funeral for that. So that's something you want to avoid. Completely understand. Thought I would give you that heads up. But in general, 5 stars. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I read the majority of it today and I didn't want to put it down. So it's also hinted that it could be the start of a companion series, because she mentions that like the 2 main characters may become like secondary characters in someone else's story. I'm like, I know where you're going with that. So fingers crossed it does, because I enjoyed it. Did you realise that I said at the beginning of this I was doing Tori's arc August, and I've not actually given you a rundown on what the prompts are, because I just kept forgetting to do it. So I've got them up on my computer now, and I'll just go through it. Basically what I'm trying to do this month is, because you can complete it with arcs, you can complete with other books as well. So if I can't complete them with arcs, I'm just trying to make sure that I've done it with other books, which I've realised I actually already have. So I've done well. So I've got anticipated arc, which is definitely Yellowface. Anything by Ralph Gong is anticipated for me. Sequel arc, I have not done an arc, but I have read a sequel. I've read Prayer for the Crown. I'm also going to read a Wayward Children book later on this month. Oldest arc, again, I have not read an arc, but Les Mis will count for that next week. Beautiful arcs, now they were all e-arcs, so that doesn't really count for this. So I'm just going to go with Lore Olympus, because that is beautiful. And then we have the free pick in the middle, so any of the ones from this week will count for that. Favourite publisher? My favourite publisher, I've realised, is Harper, in different ways, because Harper 360, Harper Teen does a lot of the YA that I like, and then Harper Voyager does a lot of the fantasy that I like. Dead Romantics was published by HarperCollins, so anything of that imprint, so I'm just going to put that on there. We have a standalone arc, which of the ones that I read, the one that I believe is a standalone seemed to be was Yellowface, I'm going to put that on there. Intimidating arc is again Yellowface, because although I knew I loved her writing, it's a different style of book. I may not have liked it, I was a little bit intimidated. And then newest arc is Dead Romantics. It's one of the newer ones I've got. There is a couple I've got since, but it's in the mood of that. So I think I've done quite well for arc August, especially considering I've only done it really over 1 week. It'd be nice if I could like fit in arcs that'd fit the other ones, but I know I've still got left to read and it's not going to happen. But wrap up with the reading for this week. Yellowface, Diary of Blood, Dead Romantics, all 5 stars. I think like my last 6 reads now, I think like I've read 7 books this month and 6 of them have been 5-star reads. I don't know what's happening, it's a bit strange. Actually, it's 8 books and 7 have been 5-star reads. It's making up for the slump that I had in July. That's what I'm calling it. It's not setting me up for failure later on. It's not what I'm worried about at all. Anyway, that is everything. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below, and I'll see you guys next week with the Les Mis vlog. Bye.